Mr. Barkindo, it seems like there's a general agreement for an extension for the OPEC deal, but when will you announce it? Will it be at this next November meeting?
Thank you very much for having me. And I know for a fact that the president of the OPEC conference, Khalid Al-Falih of Saudi Arabia, and his Russian counterpart, Alexander Novak, are actively involved in consultations with participating countries, the 24, including others who are not part of the Declaration of Cooperation, on building consensus going forward. It will be presumptuous of me to talk of the outcome of these consultations, which are ongoing at the moment.
But are producers taking their cue from what President Putin said on stage next to you 2 weeks ago in Moscow, that we could see this deal extend to the end of next year?
I was very pleased to hear that firsthand from President Putin in Moscow, as you rightly said. And I think we are all taking cue from that. Moscow, Russia has been a leading proponent of the restoration of stability to the market. Together with Saudi Arabia, they had led the pack in what we have been able to achieve, and we look forward to them continuing to provide this leadership in 2018 and beyond.
It sounds like a 9-month extension is the only option under discussion right now. That's what I'm hearing. Can you confirm that?
I wouldn't know. I know that as we speak now, Khalid Al-Falih is touring some countries. I know that Alexander Novak is also discussing with several countries. Therefore, I will urge you to be patient with us until you arrive in Vienna. Hopefully, we'll be able to hear from them a full and comprehensive report on the outcome of their consultations, which will guide the conference on November 30 and the decision to be taken. Yeah.
So both Novak and Al-Falih are drumming up support?
No, they are working, consulting with all the participating countries in the Declaration of Cooperation, including other producers who are not part of the Declaration of Cooperation, to build a general consensus before November 30th meeting in Vienna.
So will we see other non-OPEC countries join an extension?
First of all, we are hoping that their consultations that they are carrying out at the moment would also persuade other producers to join the Declaration of Cooperation before we decide on its duration.
Can you name any of them?
At the moment, I wouldn't be able to disclose, because this is something that is going. This is based on their own sovereign considerations. It's been carried out at very high levels of government, and I think we should just be patient. Hopefully, before November 30th, probably Khalid Al-Falih would be able to make certain announcements.
Now, is OPEC worried about the disruptions in the Middle East with the disputed fields between Iraq and the Kurdish forces?
Yes, Iraq, as you know, is not only a founder member of OPEC, it's the birthplace of OPEC. And OPEC is concerned with the continued stability, peace, and prosperity of Iraq. It's very essential not only for OPEC, but for the whole region. And we are glad that we are beginning to see reason weighing in and dialogue being resorted to in order to resolve any differences that they may have between Baghdad and the KRG.
Are you in touch regularly with the Iraqi oil minister about this?
We are in regular contact with all our member countries, and we remain confident that Iraq will also emerge united and stronger out of this friction that they faced.
As you know, President Trump disavowed the nuclear deal with Iran. What would it mean for the oil market if this escalated?
At the moment, we hope and pray that it will not affect the supply situation from Iran. Iran has done extremely well last year when the sanctions were lifted. They were able to use their domestic resources to restore their production capacity, to recover some of their lost market share. We're very pleased with the level of recovery of Iran, and we hope that this current situation will not affect this recovery.
Are any other ministers within OPEC worried about this situation?
Yes, OPEC is a family. Whatever affects one member country affects the rest, and we always stand concerned and in solidarity with all our member countries.
Staying in the U.S., oil production is rising too quickly in the U.S. to stay in the price range and the oil rally we've seen. Do you agree? Do you agree that the U.S. oil production is rising too quickly?
Well, we had seen a surge in U.S. tight oil production in the last year since the declaration of cooperation. We have seen a sharp contraction in 2016, and we saw a rebound since our historic decision on the 10th of December. We have seen very active levels of hedging of the companies, and as a result, we have also seen a surge in private and public equity into the shale basins. But all these are starting to decelerate, and some of them are even plateauing. We have seen, for example, a very sharp correction, if you like, in the amount of funds flowing from Wall Street into the shale basins, which is immediately affecting on the rig count. The deceleration that we have seen in the rig count could be correlated to level of funding that is contracting. And you have also seen of recent loud calls by shareholders for fiscal discipline by these companies, effectively calling them to shift their model and their focus from volume to value. And these are all significant developments that would inform the need for the tight oil producers to share responsibility with OPEC and with other producers in order to restore and maintain stability in the oil market going forward.
So you're not too worried about the U.S. then?
Not at the moment, because we are beginning to see these positive signs. We are beginning to see the companies themselves re-examining their strategies in the light of these realities. It's a free market. It's a development that was largely funded by both public and private equity. We have seen a very high level of funds flow of about $60 billion between 2015 and 2016 into the shale basins. But we have seen also a very sharp reduction to almost about $6 billion today. And hence the need for them to revisit and re-examine their business models as well as their strategies and meet us halfway in our reach out and advocacy to continue our dialogue that we started in March in Houston in the interest of the industry.